Motherfucker.
Hold on, I hope y'all watching this shit.
First round, real quick.
That are in those trains. But now we're gonna get a good.
I fuck with this guy.
They're
I
at,
thought he was a con artist, just based off his look.
they're at edge. Holy shit! What the hell just happened?
What's up, motherfuckers? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo's Wrestling Room, December 14th, 2021. We got a big show planned today. Let me get this off.
Just jamming to some tunes, no big deal.
Yeah, joining me today, owner of Hybrid Championship Wrestling. That's out of what, Terre Haute?
Terre Haute, Indiana. Yes.
Austin Ryan.
Yep, that's me. I'm Austin Ryan. I do want to go ahead and say now because I don't want to leave anybody out. um, I am a co-owner of Hybrid Champs Wrestling.
Okay.
We do have a team of us. There is a whole group of us that own it and work with it. So it is me that like promotes it and books it and stuff, but it is definitely other people behind the scenes as well. So I want to shout out Jeremy Griever, Lindsey Griever, Sherry Griever, and Devin Donahoe. So those four guys, I want to make sure they get some shout out, because they help just as much as I do.
Oh yeah, it takes a team to do about anything like that. Even doing what we do, you can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah, we definitely have a team, and it's a good team, and we're all knowledgeable. So it's definitely getting us, a good mindset for a good product.
How long have you been with the Hybrid Championship Wrestling?
Oh, geez, our first show was on November 12th, but I mean, it's been in the works forever. I mean, I remember when I first met my girlfriend, you know, almost 2 years ago. I remember like within weeks we were talking about how much we love wrestling and how we wanted to start our own thing. And then I talked to her brother, and he was like, I've been wanting to run my own company for a long time. And I'm like, I've been trying to push it and push it and push it. And then finally we got it finally going. And, so it hasn't been long. I mean, I think technically our Twitter page has been up since 2020. So 2021. So it's barely a year old.
So the show coming up in January, is that going to be your third show?
It's my second show.
Second show. Okay, so you
Yep,
had the
it'll
one
be
in
our
November, and then
Yep. And then we'll have one, this one coming up. We wanted to take a month off, because it's going to be the winter months. So, we don't want to force people to come out and try and get them to watch wrestling when it's cold outside, because a lot of people, when it's cold outside or if it's snowing, a lot of people don't want to come out, and make that drive. So, we're trying to make that not happen. But we've got our second show, the Double Down coming up in January 28th. We'll be doing a co-show with Ohio Wrestling Alliance in Ohio on February 20th. That'll be interesting. And then March 18th is our next date looking at going to be in Terre Haute. So
okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that show on the 28th. Coming down, checking you guys out.
Yep, I've already got your 2 tickets put away, man. So we're ready to go on that. I'm glad to see you come out. I did talk to some of the guys, so I think we're good to have you help announce a couple of our matches. So
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah. So it's gonna be cool. We'll get you in there. You kind of get a feel for what it's like.
Got Aaron Atlas just said, "Oh shit, that's a sick hoodie." So
Yeah.
you're getting some comments on your merch.
You gotta represent the brand. You gotta be. We got good product. We got good brand. Represent the brand. You know what I'm saying? Just like you're doing.
Oh, have you ever been a wrestler, or did you just get in as doing the promoter part, or?
Yeah, so I actually refed for close to 3 years, and I was like, the more and more, you watch it and you study it and you're in the ring with the other guys, I've been, this is something I think I want to do, something, it's almost like an art form, and you look at it and you're like, I want to do that too. So, I got into it, not too long ago. I think I've only got like 15 matches under my belt, but I've wrestled more out of state than I've wrestled in state, so I've wrestled more in Illinois than I've wrestled here in Indiana. So I've been around, I've been to my fair share of companies, and it's pretty good stuff. But, I want to do this part as well because I feel like I have a creative mindset. So, and I think so far it's going good.
What do you think the biggest difference in between doing the promoter / ownership part and being on the wrestling part of it?
So I personally, when I first started, I didn't think there was going to be like much of a difference. Obviously, you have a different role to play, but you have to keep your ears and eyes open all the time for everything, whether it be in the locker room, on social media, or anything like that. So I have to be more social media involved, as well as involved in the locker room. Because people look at you almost as their boss because they're doing a job and I'm the boss, or my team's the boss. So it's almost like I have to flip a switch into that management mode, and I think that's being different because as a worker, when I show up to a show, I get what the boss needs from me, what they expect from me, who I'm working, and all the details. And then I just go out there and I do what I'm supposed to do. And it's just like, Alcon, being a promoter means you have to have your fingers on the pulse of the business. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, like being a promoter, and it's almost difficult too, because like not only do owner, but we have to promote it, and we have to treat it, like as like advertising. It's all like just so many mix of different things that I didn't think I realized was going to be as big until I actually started doing it.
Do you think it's harder to be a worker or to be the promoter slash wrestler in the independent business?
I think they both have their difficulties. Um, but I think being a promoter is just a little bit more difficult because has a little bit more finances involved to it. So I think and money drive people nuts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit difficult just because there's a little bit more money involved. Like our next show has almost $4,000 dumped into it already. So it doesn't seem like, I mean, that sounds like a lot, but like it kind of is, I guess. You know what I mean? So like it's a little bit different versus driving to Illinois and making $40. Now I'm coughing up $4,000 to make sure I put out a good product, and paying all the people and making sure I'm being fair. I'm not telling people, they're like, oh, what's your rate? And they're like, $60 plus my transportation. I'm like, could you do it for 40? You know what I mean? Like people know what they're worth, and I'm gonna pay people what they're worth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would say that would be the biggest difference is when you're a worker, all you're basically worried about is yourself, getting yourself booked on shows. But when you're the promoter's owner, you got to worry about everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, when you kind of show up, like, yeah, you kind of want to worry about yourself and make sure you treat yourself as a brand, you know what I mean, as a worker, and you advertise yourself and stuff like that. And then it's a promoter, you're advertising for everybody, you gotta take care of everybody, and it's a little more hectic, but it's fun. It's fun stuff. It's good stuff.
In the wrestling part of it, what do you think the hardest part of the on the independent scene is for a wrestler trying to work their way up and get their name out there?
I think I've had the most problems with I think because most companies I've reached out to are always like, yeah, send us like what you've got, and as someone new, I don't have a whole lot, you know what I mean? So it's like, but I have a resume, and I have a really nice resume. But that's probably the hardest part for some like people, because there's people probably been working as long as I have, but have only worked at like 2 or 3 companies, and it's difficult to to kind of get your name out there, because it's almost like when you apply for your first job and they're like, what's your work references, or what kind of work have you done? You're like, nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of difficult.
That I would say that, and then like a lot of these promotions probably have their normal guys that they bring in.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they might not have spots available to bring in new talent.
Yeah, and that's like our biggest thing we've ran into already, only running like 2 shows. Like I probably have over 100 messages across all social medias of people wanting to work for us, and it sucks that I can't work with everybody, and I want to try and squeeze everybody in, but again, like financially, I have to be smart, and then I've also got to make sure everything makes sense. Like if I can't just pull people in for no reason, have them show up and then leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have our fair share of like mainstays that we're going to keep around, because they're from Terre Haute, and like this is their home, and we want to keep them around, but obviously all as well as introducing new talent consistently, that way everybody gets a face shown here.
Yeah, and it'd be hard to. I would say, well, I don't know. I would say it'd be hard to implement your storylines if you have too many people and you're switching a lot of guys in and out all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a big part. Yeah. That's a big part of the show.
Yeah, so a big part of the show. I mean, like if like Aaron Atlas and Jeffrey John, they've got a little bit of beef going on at our show, and it wouldn't make sense for me not to book Jeffrey John and Aaron Atlas on the next show, because who knows what's going to go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's got to be smart. You got to be smart, and I'm trying to stay that way. And obviously I've got a good team behind me that's also going to keep me smart. And obviously it's good to have more than one set of eyes on my product, so they have, an insight or what they think might happen. So I think it's good to have a team.
Oh yeah. Good to have a team. It's good to have multiple people that you can talk to and get their, like you said, get a different set of eyes on it and get their opinion on it.
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
even with us doing this, like Hollywood House, he's helped us out a bunch, because I'll message him, hey, should we do this, or am I do? Yeah. What you think? What do you think of our shows, and what can we do better to improve them?
Yeah, and the wrestling world's the same way. Like it's full of constructive criticism, and and you have to be able to take that advice, because some people get stuck in their way, and if you're not willing to like mold yourself into like and take this advice, it's gonna be kind of like difficult to work with you, or difficult to evolve and stuff like that. So you have to be able to take advice. I every time I get done in a match, I'm like, all right, constructive criticism, don't lie to me. Like I try to be that way immediately. I'm like, don't lie to me. What did I not do well? What can I do better? Stuff like that. And they're like, do this, do that, this needs to be better, this was okay, but you could have done this, and it's like, okay, then I start to pick it apart, and I can see myself. I watch my stuff back, I can see myself getting better, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I think you just have to be open-minded in this world, and
that's what I was gonna
it's
say. You have
good.
to have an open mind.
Yeah, you really do. If you get stuck in your own way, you're not going to go nowhere, in my opinion.
Nope. And I've noticed what you just said. A lot of the independent wrestlers don't. I mean, even us, just commentating the shows, we have some of them come up to us after the show and they'll ask us, "Hey, do you have any criticisms or what did you think of my match?" And
Yeah.
you see a lot of wrestlers trying to get people's opinions so they can improve.
And those are the people that'll go far, in my opinion, because if you're open minded and you're asking questions and you get that criticism, like that's how you evolve and you do get better. So it's good that those people are asking those questions, because that's how you get better.
Hollywood House with a good question there. Uh, Asked if HCW is more focused on being a storyline driven promotion or sports centric AEW style action where storylines are more basic and not emphasized on at all. What indie do you aspire HCW to mirror?
So I'll say this: HCW is going to be its own product. I don't know if it's going to really, be inspired by any other product besides, I think myself and Jeremy Griever, who's one of the guys who helps me love, obviously, the Attitude Era and stuff like that. So I think we want to represent, that more style. It's going to be a more of a story driven base, because if we're going to have, 100 people sit in our crowd consistently, those people are going to want to come back via story, in my opinion. Yeah, good wrestling's good wrestling, but I think only good wrestling can keep people around for so long. You know what I mean? And that's what the stories are going to be for. So that's what the storylines, are going to be implemented for, because I just feel like that can draw, like we have, like I said, the Jeffrey John and Aaron Atlas, like it's gonna keep happening because there's heat there, and there's no reason to get rid of that, because people are wanting to see what they've got going on and what kind of beef they have. There's no point to, next show I'm just gonna bring in this guy and have him wrestle Jeffrey, and then, people are gonna come see Jeffrey, but I mean, for how long? Until they sit at home and they see our ad and they go, well, I've seen Jeffrey wrestle 100 times. I don't need to go just watch Jeffrey wrestle, instead of it being like, well, Aaron and Jeffrey last time got into what looked like to be, a shoot fight. I'm going to go see what's going on today.
Go see what's going to happen next.
Yeah. So it's going to be definitely House. It's going to be more story driven, and there's going to be, versus, let's just bring people in and have them wrestle each other, because that's cool too. That can create a good product. But personally, I feel like stories are going to be what's going to draw people back consistently and over a long period of time.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. You mentioned the Attitude Era. That I think that's a good style to go to, because you don't see that no more, and a lot of people are wanting to see some of that kind of entertainment.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things we take from the Attitude Era is what you see backstage. Like, yeah, there's interviews and stuff like that, but you don't see, in my opinion, like on IWTV, the product I've been watching, you don't see what's going on between, backstage between wrestlers. What's the locker room like, and stuff, and simple things like that like people want to be a little bit more involved.
Yeah.
And that way we can get informed, because I mean, you can interview anybody anywhere. I can interview someone in the middle of the street right now, and if it's on TV, they'll watch it. But if someone wants to get like a little more of a taste, to like what's backstage or something, and they can watch our product and get that, I feel like it's another thing to draw people back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. People always like to think that they get to see the back, like you said, the backstory and how things are actually working.
Yeah. And like how stories unfold, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like stories can unfold in ring, but it's also so much more than that, you know? It's, you know, when you walk in the building with your suitcase and, you know, you've got heat with someone, that story starts as soon as you walk in the door almost. And, you know, some people want that taste of, you know, what's it like back there? What, you know, what's he feeling, you know, versus just when you come out and they see him wrestle and the story unfolds in the ring a little bit, but there's a little bit more, you know, we want to
Yep.
spice it up, you know?
Especially with the way social media is now, you can. It's a lot easier to do a lot of that stuff and take advantage of it because more you can get more eyes on it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we could probably improve on our social medias you know, to be realistic. Um, but when it comes down to it, we know that like our product needs to be in front of as many eyes as possible, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, which we have all those. We're on IWTV, which thank the Lord that we had, you know, IWTV contacts when we got our first episode on IWTV. And I think that's, you know, a good product. If you sign up for IWTV and you're signing up for a new subscription, use code HCW Midwest and get your first month free.
Okay.
So do that. But, you know,
I'll
yeah,
definitely
like
do
you
that. I
said,
was just telling my dad the other day I was going to subscribe to IWTV, so
yeah, sign up for a new one. I'll send you our code after this is done. You get your first month for free. So,
'cause honestly, I've been watching more independent wrestling, especially since we started doing doing a lot of these shows and doing commentating. I've been watching more independent wrestling on YouTube and stuff than I even watched the big companies.
yeah, I do too. Cause I mean, like I have a lot of friends in the wrestling world. So I'm always like, oh, what's this guy got going on? What's he got going on? Oh, he's on this show. I want to watch that. I want to see what he, you know, who'd he
Yeah,
wrestle? Who's he got? What's he got going on? You know, so I feel like, you know, as I meet people, I want to know what they have going on. So yeah, I'm real big on IWTV and so is our whole team. We love to just, you know, watch and see what people got going on.
yeah. Because now that I've been doing these shows, I've made a lot of friends. So I like, hey, okay, he's gonna be on this show, so or I want to see what they're doing. So I'm
Yeah.
always looking at new things, or somebody that's going to be on the show that I haven't got to see live or anything. Makes it nice to be able to watch some of their matches and see some of their work before you just go into an interview not really knowing much about what they do.
Yeah, yeah. I do want to address something that House is in here, and he says HCW is a very young company that feels like a very good impression from the first show. My next question is, when do we see the HCW World Title, and how do we plan to present it at the HCW crowd? So I'll tell you this: this is going to be our second show. It's, you know, a Hybrid Championship Wrestling will present the Double Down. Our whole gimmick is that it's casino night. And I'll tell you this: what's casino night without a little bit of gold? So you wait.
uh, Speaking of that, that's on what, January 28th. Double
January
down.
28th. Yep, that's the Double Down right there. You know, we felt like it was a good name for us. You know, we're doubling down on our company. We're putting in more money. We're putting in more production. We're bringing in more people. And I just feel like, you know, we're doubling down on our name, on our brand, and on our company. So it was a good name and it fits and it's good to go.
I know the names I've seen that's going to be on it. It should be a real good card.
Yeah, I think I think it's going to be pretty amazing. I know I've got high hopes for it, but also I try to keep myself too far from having high hopes. That way, if something goes wrong, you know, I'm like, well, okay. Like, but at the same time, I'm like super optimistic. You know, my whole team's optimistic, so they keep me optimistic at the same time. You know.
But it's good to have people around you like that are optimistic because you have people around you that are the other way. It can drag the whole thing down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, optimism. You know, like, and I feel like, you know, if we start to look down on our own product, we're not gonna make a good product. You know what I mean? So
What's your like in game or in gold? Where do you want to see HCW go?
oh man, so this is a question we ask ourselves all the time. Is what's the goal? And it's like, well, you know, we have our building now at the Strive 365 building in Terre Haute, Indiana. You know, it's a sports complex. You know, it's two soccer fields basically in size. We use a quarter of the building. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the ring's not, you know, two soccer fields big. Our goal is to improve as much as we can and eventually fill that building up, like standing room only, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Thousands of people in there. And, you know, obviously, you know, we want to see talent that's upcoming, come through Hybrid Championship Wrestling, and eventually see them on something, a bigger product, you know what I mean? And we just want to know that we're a good place for people to evolve and get better and have good opportunities. So we just want to be filled with, I guess, in the end, opportunity. So
On the on your show, like on Double Down, is that live on IWTV, or does that go on IWTV like after the show?
So it'll go on IWTV after the fact.
Okay.
We were thinking live, but in February we might attempt that, doing that show in Ohio with OWA. But it's like a testing thing. We're gonna figure out what it's like. We like to edit our product that way. We've got multiple cameras, so we want to be able to edit all the scenes in there. You know what I mean? When you see on camera, going back and forth between camera angles.
Yeah.
So we like to have our editor go in, be able to do that. So because sometimes in live, you miss something, you miss it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like play around with it and we'll see what happens. But right now, as of the fact it's going to be recorded and the live crowd will see it, and then a day or day two later it should go on IWTV.
Okay.
We don't like to keep people waiting. We try to get it. I think our editor for our first show had to edit it in one night and up the next day. So
well, he put in some work.
yeah, he did, but we pay the guy for his work, and he was doing it. So that's what happens. You pay people what they're worth, and they're happy to work. You know what I mean?
Oh, with your experience of doing the wrestling and the owner, have you got to meet any of the legends in the business or bigger name people that have worked at other companies? And
so no, I mean, I haven't met anybody that's like blown my socks off. I mean, I've worked with people that I'm like, oh, I'd like to work with that guy one day. He's got a good mindset. I like to pick his brain. You know what I mean? And I've wrestled my fair share of people that I've met for the first time, and I've never even heard of them. And we're going through stuff, and he's got ideas and I've got ideas, and it's just magic. And I've had my fair share of people I've met that don't want to talk about anything, and they're like, we'll just go out there and we'll wrestle, we'll figure it out. And it's like, that's an okay mindset to have, but the wrestling world is getting more creative, so we have to be open-minded to building something that's good, that we want people to watch. So, but I know I've never met anybody famous. I mean, we're in talk with some big names now, actually. I don't want to give out names just yet, that way if it does happen it's a surprise, but we've got our fair share of pretty big name people that we got bringing in, something to draw more eyes to our product.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you, not name wise, like to give any names, but was it you guys going to be trying to bring in people like that to the HCW?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So I mean, that's a good another thing of, 4 people, running a company is, all of us have ideas and all of us have names that we're interested in. So we're all passing around ideas all the time, and yeah, we're definitely going to bring in people that are going to bring more eyes to our product for sure.
And you're going to have a seminar that day too?
Yeah, so Warhorse, who's he's done his fair share of work, and he's been around. He's been on AEW a few times. You may have seen that, and he's got this character that is so locked in. But okay, sorry, I was reading something that popped up. Yeah, so he's got this character that's so locked in, and he's so consistent with it. Some people can't do that. Some people can't stay locked into their character. And I feel like that's something that is teachable, So Warhorse was open-minded with a seminar. We did actually just put on our website, and, anybody who's watching that seminar is now 50% off for our Christmas, season. So until the new year, it's 50% off. So it was $40. It's only $20 for the next, like 15 days. So it's, it's a good opportunity to learn and pick a brain, that's been around the world. So.
Yeah, that's special, especially for $20. You can't beat that at all.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the same thing, and I think $20 is a steal, and I think it's a good deal, and we want to give back, workers, and anybody else that wants to learn or wants to pick his brain, for $20. And it's most, it's a 50-50 split between the company and him, because we want Warhorse, make it home safe and have safe travels and stuff like that. So I don't want him to be like, you got some gas money I could borrow? I'm like, no, man, I will run a seminar. We'll make you some money, and make sure you get home safe and everything like that. So
do you have
Warhorse is going to be rolling ass at HCW? That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Warhorse is going to be rolling ass, head banging and rolling ass. That's for sure.
Do you have the card set for the 28th?
The whole card is set. We're slowly releasing, more and more stuff. Our most recent announcement was Aaron Atlas versus Tyler Scott. Tyler Scott's a new blood around HCW for sure, and he's new, and we thought, let's see if he can hold his own against somebody who's causing heck at Hybrid, and he didn't seem too happy about that. Aaron didn't, and he told me he's got some words for me. So we'll see if he sends me something and see if he's upset about it or not.
I'm looking forward to seeing Aaron wrestle. I haven't got to see him wrestle live yet, and of course he was on last week.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy for sure. I know he's my brother, but in the business I try not to be biased too much, but he's an interesting guy. I'll tell you what.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Jeffrey John versus Sam Knight.
Yeah. Aaron's was kind of like wanting me to put him against Jeffrey, and I was like, I don't know. You wrestled him last week, and you guys kind of had words in the back room afterwards. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Have you announced any other matches besides them ones?
So we announced first would be Arthur MacArthur.
Okay, yep, Arthur MacArthur.
Arthur MacArthur and Dan the Dad. Two very creative individuals. I think that one's gonna be a blast. I think for sure. Look, we got Jeffrey John in the house. Look at that. We are just talking about the heat between Jeffrey John and Aaron Atlas. No big deal. I don't know, man. Jeffrey John at our last show, he came out, booed like crazy when he came out. But man, did he flip the scripts? He got the whole crowd behind him and everything. And I think they like him there, man. I've had a few people message me and ask me if the Babushka boy was going to be there. And I was like, all right, I got to announce this match for people keep asking me. So.
What's the heat between Atlas and John about?
So I don't know. I think so. Jeffrey John, he's very protective. Is Babushka, he's very protective of it. And I think Aaron went a little dirty in the last match, and I think he pulled it over his eyes, get the advantage. And I think it's just something that Jeffrey John didn't really respect. So in the end, you'll see what happens on the next one. January 28th. You'll be there. You'll be there. You get to see it live.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. We got to see a couple of new organizations over the weekend, and I've been a pro wrestling fan since I was a kid. My dad, we call him the encyclopedia of wrestling around here because it seems like he knows everything. And
yeah, that's awesome.
Big fan. So he's been enjoying this because he goes to every show with me. And,
yeah, I watched a lot of wrestling when I was little. I kind of stopped in my teenage years. I don't know if I didn't like wrestling, but I just kind of like didn't really watch TV anymore either. So when I talked to one of our partners, Jeremy, he can just spit facts off the top of his head. Did you watch this match in 2003 on this day? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And and he'll tell me the result and what happened, and like he'll spit names out at me that have been like across the world. He's like, you ever heard of this guy? And I'm like, no. And he'll show me all about him, and I'm like, man, he's like an encyclopedia as well.
That's how my dad is. It's crazy. They know like you said, know the dates and everything. It's like,
yeah.
Because I watched it a lot, but as I got in like high school and stuff, I was kind of like you. I didn't watch it as much just because I was busy with sports and didn't watch much TV.
Yeah, it was for me in high school, it was go to school, get home from school, go to work. I had a job when I was in high school, and go to sleep and do it all over again all week. You know what I mean? So I didn't really watch Monday Night Raw and SmackDown on Friday. So.
And then when I had my son, me and Dad started taking him around to a lot of the independent shows and stuff. So I got back in it more with him, and then now we're right back in it again, watching it about every weekend.
And independent wrestling is its own ball game. Like I didn't even know, and I'll tell you this: I used to work at my old job. It was a Steak and Shake. I used to flip burgers, and I won't name names, but I worked with this guy there, and I met him. And like I eventually became the manager there, and he still flipped burgers and stuff, and me and him were friends though, and he was like, hey, like I need to put in a time request off for like 6 months, and I was like, dang, I was like, where are you going? He was like, I'm going to pro wrestling school, and I didn't see him for a long time, And he messaged me one day. He was like, "Hey, you think I can get my job back?" And I was like, "For sure." And then we were like friends again, like that. And then now he's like a professional wrestler. And then he was telling me all about it. And then I fell back in love with independent wrestling. And like I didn't even know it existed until he told me he was going to a school for it. And I was like, "Wow, that's nuts." And it's its own ball game, like I said, and it's interesting, man. If you pay attention to it, it's really interesting.
Did you go to when you started doing the wrestling? Did you go to a school or anything to get trained?
Ask Austin about his ring crew death match. So yeah, Gary, owner of Asylum, AWR, Asylum Wrestling Revolution, AWR. I don't know if you've ever been there,
Not yet. I'm planning on
but
going though.
boy, are they in their own ball game for sure. Those guys over there, they're nuts, creative,
I want
and
to go check out one of those death matches.
that was actually the show that Aaron and I was at. We ended up we were in the ring sweeping. Aaron and I were.
Yeah, I saw
We were,
that. I saw the video of
we're
that.
we were trying to go, man, and like we had some plastic brooms. We're breaking them because we're trying to push all the massacre out of this ring and clean it up for the next guys. And man, we had the whole crowd chanting, to get us to try and fight each other. And I was telling him, I was like, "You want to go at it?" And Aaron's like, "Nah, man, I'm not taking a bump on this glass, man." And I'm like, "Come on, man." I'm like, "Let's do it." I'm like, "They want it." And then Aaron's like, "Nah," and I was like, "Man, that sucks." And we ended up not doing it. Whole crowd was going nuts. They probably hate us now because we didn't do it. But I went to Gary after the show and I was like, should we have done something there? He's like, "If the crowd's asking for it, you do that shit." And I was like, "Damn, man, I should have just picked him up, body slammed him right there. Shouldn't even asked him."
Yeah, I plan on going to check out one of them death matches. I've watched some of them on TV and stuff, but the atmosphere looks like it'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah. So if you ever visit AWR, I know they got some shows that are outside the Emerson Theater, but the Emerson Theater is a very creative place. I mean, they're evolving too. They've got new lights, they've got new entrances. They got smoke machines. And they're making everything better there. They've got liquor you can drink there. They're getting sponsors for vape shops and all that stuff down there. And they've got all, dude, you can get everything almost there. Anything to enjoy yourself. And that whole crowd, like I said, they're all pumped and they're ready to go because they know what they're about to see. So yeah, it's definitely a different crowd. But yeah, it's if you want to have fun, those are the people that have fun around.
Yeah, I've heard it was. Everybody that's talked about it's told me it's a great product. Does HCW have a training school for like? Do you guys try to bring in new talent to train and bring up, or is
Yeah,
that
so we
something
actually
something
so
maybe
we
in the
don't
future?
yeah, so we don't have any like school or classes yet. We've actually had several people reach out to us about some sort of academy or someone to train, something like that. And with the venue we work with through now, it's not something we can leave our ring in consistently. So we have to tear it down, we have to break it down. But it's something I'm interested in. I know a fair share of people who know how to train people. Aaron's trainer, Dale Patrick's. He's one of the, in my opinion, one of the most knowledgeable and blunt people to work with, and that's someone I'd want to bring in, like worker wise, that can train people and get other people into the right mindset. Dale Patrick's is AWR's baby boy as well, so you'll see Dale Patrick's a lot at AWR, so I recommend them as well going there.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about Del Patrick's. I haven't got to see him live yet, but
Yeah, that guy, that's one to keep your eyes on. I love Dale. Dale's one of my best friends. I'd go, jump off a cliff if he asked me to. I'd do anything for that guy. He's great. At the last one of the last AWR shows, I think it was one of the New Blood shows. Actually, Aaron Atlas and myself went at it, and Gary said, "Screw it, AWR is about to invade us. He's going to bring the glass and everything." Ah, man. I get a couple people on board for that, but you might not have to tell me about it. You might just have to show up, man. Keep it a surprise.
keep it a surprise. Just show up with a bunch of glass at the show.
Just show up with a bunch of glass and in a bus full of glass or something. Oh man, that's great. But yeah, AWR is a good product. Those some people I respect. They work hard on what they've got, and they've got a good building. They've it all looks good there, and I know they're trying to improve. And that's what I think I respect is if you put your money back into the business to make your product better, I respect that a lot because there's a lot of people that they make their money from all these ticket sales, and then they don't put any of that money back into the business. And that's like, how can you make your product better if you're not putting your money back into it? So, and I know Gary does that, and I think he's got some people that work with him, and I think they put their money into it too. So I know that product's gonna get better and better every year.
If you don't try to improve your product, eventually people are going to stop coming because they've seen it so many. They've seen the same thing over and over so many times.
Exactly, exactly. And if you want your product to last for years, you need to, improve your product, put your money back into the product. So we made sure we did that. Like all the money we made from our first show into our second show. None of us took a penny home. We're just putting it all back in. We don't care to see that money. We want our product to strive. So we just wanted to.
And they always say you got to spend money to make money. So,
Yep, that's the term. You kind of have to live by it almost.
yeah.
Gary says he's there to help, but I know he's still thinking about the glass. He's just going to show up with a box of light tubes one day. He's like, here, use these.
He did also say the HCW is doing amazing things. So, I mean, that's
Yeah, I appreciate it, Gary. Thank you.
You said your work. Who you doing your next show with in Ohio?
It'll be Ohio Wrestling Alliance, OWA. You can see most of their stuff. I think they're the most active on Twitter, so that's where you'd have to check them out at. But they get their fair share of good people too. That company's run by Justin. His name's Justin Dortch, and he's same way. He'll pour money into that company because he loves it, and I think that's something that's so respectable in my opinion.
Where at in Ohio is that show?
It's at a bar called the King of Clubs. Where is it at? I have to freaking look. But it's at a bar called the King of Clubs, and it's got 2 stories. It's got bars on both floors. It's epic. It's like one of the best venues I've ever been to. It's crazy big, and it's people get nuts there, and they serve good food, and they serve good drinks, and they got where's it at? Let me find it. It's in Columbus, Ohio, and it's at the King of Clubs. But that show should be live on IWTV.
And when did you say that show was?
That is on February 20th. It's OWA's Good Trouble, Volume 3. Columbus, Ohio.
All right.
Gary wants to get nasty. Gary wants color.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to go. We might try to come and check that show out.
It's not bad. It's a little bit of a drive, but man, I'm telling you, you go. And like we usually get a hotel, because we're so wore out after some of those shows. But I also like to do my fair share of drinking and enjoying myself after the fact. You know what I mean? So I like to, enjoy a whole bunch of wrestling, drink a little bit of alcohol, have fun.
Oh yeah, that's probably what we'll do is get a hotel. But it's not very much farther than what we drove over the weekend to go to. We went to Bloomington. And now that's a 2-hour drive, and Columbus isn't too much farther than that. So
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So we actually running the pre-show to OWA's Good Trouble Volume 3, and ours is the wild card. So we have 4 matches before their show starts. And then if you go on to OWA's Twitter page, they actually have a link that you can buy the tickets from, and all it is, it's a $5 add-on, and you get 4 more matches before the show starts. You go in like 2 o'clock. So it's a steal, in my opinion.
So you just pay $5 extra and you get to come into your guys' show, basically, to your guys' matches.
So you go onto the link, you go through the phone, you hit buy tickets, it'll give you a map, you can be able to pick your seat on the map, boom, and then right when you're getting ready to check out, I'll ask you, hey, $5 extra, you watch the first part, the pre-show. So all it is $5 extra.
Okay.
Not really much if you think about it.
No.
$5, it's like $1.25 per match.
So you said there's 2 stories, so there's like seats up in the balcony.
There's balcony area and everything. The map might not show it as that way, but there is 2 stories there, and it's nice, man. There's like TVs everywhere. There's really long bar on both floors. They serve good pizza. I know that for a fact.
That's always a plus if you like a place like that where you can get, like you said, get good food. And if you want to drink some alcohol or whatever, you can get good drinks. I think that's a plus that helps draw people.
So that's one of our things. We wanted to be different because there is another company that runs in Terre Haute, Indiana, and we got to try and be different. We want our product to thrive, and they don't serve alcohol. We do. They don't have fresh food. I believe we have fresh food: cheeseburgers, pretzels, hot pretzels, nachos, all that stuff. So we serve good food. We serve beer, wine, all that stuff. You know, they have beer carts with ice in them that they roll around with, and they can, you know, give them out to people. So, you know, it's almost like being at a football stadium. You know.
See, I've always didn't understand why more organizations didn't do that.
Yeah,
That
I
don't
mean,
serve beer or alcohol.
I think it's more of just like because it's, you know, it's a license thing, and I think to get like a liquor license, I think that takes some time. I do believe. We're lucky that, you know, the company that promotes us, Drive 365, their building already has that license.
Oh,
So they,
okay.
you know, and they have, you know, the people that serve it, you know, they've got their license.
Yeah.
So we're all set to go.
Yeah, I think that's a plus that helps draw people in because
I think it helps you enjoy it a little bit too,
yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
more. I mean, I like good wrestling, but if I'm a little tipsy at the same time,
Well,
it's even better.
it's just like if you go to a football game or any sporting event,
Yeah.
most people are there. They're gonna drink a few beers, like you said, have a good time.
Exactly, exactly. I think I went to a college football game with my girlfriend not too long ago, and I didn't drink any beer, but I was really like, I was this close. I was this close. I was really enjoying the game, and I didn't really want to get up and go get one. But if I would have walked by the beer carts and stuff on my way in, I probably would have grabbed one.
Or if somebody would have been down there with like you
Yeah.
said, walking
If so-
around.
yeah, exactly. Someone would walk around with a cooler of beer and offer me one. I would
Oh
be like,
yeah.
yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir.
So
Bring one here.
I've been at some Colts games like that where I'm like, man, I think I want to go get a beer, but I didn't want to get up because I'm into the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, but
Austin also does amazing merch.
I do, yeah. And I mean, so I help make the merch. My girlfriend Lindsay, who's actually one of our partners, she makes it for sure. She does most of the hard labor, but she made this. We make hats, shirts, hoodies, tank tops, you know, anything you can imagine. We make that stuff because we know that, like, you know, a lot of the independent wrestlers, you know, they have a Brainbuster Tees website, or they have a Pro Wrestling Tees website, and you know, if someone comes up to you after the show and like, oh, do you have a shirt I could buy? Like, if you wanted to buy an Aaron Atlas shirt, and you went to Aaron and you was like, Aaron Atlas, big fan. Can I buy a shirt from you? I'd like to, you know, wear your shirt. And he goes, go to my website. Then that's like another thing you have to kind of step out and do versus, you know, if you go, I have $20, can I buy a shirt? And he goes, here you go. And it's right there.
Yeah.
Boom. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's almost like why they put the candy at the front of the gas station. You know, it's an impulse buy. You know, people are like pumped up. They want to, you know, buy that t-shirt. They buy that t-shirt. They might forget later.
Yeah. So do you guys sell your shirts online as well? Or is it all just like at your show?
So we're in the middle of trying to get a Pro Wrestling Tees website, but our next January 28th show will have merch at our tables and stuff for that show. So if you show up there and you want to, you know, represent the brand and you want to support us, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, all that stuff.
Yeah, because I know we do. Like you made a good point because that is real. If you have it on hand, it's a lot easier than like online.
And I tell you what, and I know some wrestlers will probably they'll say the same thing. There's nothing better than buying, you know, like $150 worth of t-shirts and you sell all of them. And you feel, you know, it's so like relieving because like, oh, I made my money back, but there's also like 50 people out there wearing my t-shirt right now. So it's a pretty cool feeling.
That's what we did. We have our stuff online, but like when we go do these shows, we'll print up we get some shirts printed to take with us to have on hand.
You make sure you print some of those shirts for our show. We'll see if we can like buy them from you, and we'll give them out to the crowd or something like that. We'll put it in a t-shirt gun and shoot them into the crowd, something like that.
Yeah, so and you sell, like you said, you sell more if you have them on hand. It's just a less step. A lot of people won't go online.
Yeah, some people just forget, you know, like, okay, go on Pro Wrestling's Tee, and then they have a beer and they enjoy the show, and then they forget to buy the t-shirt.
Yep.
Gary, our first show is on IWTV. Missed it. Our second one's going to be on there as well.
Now, on IWTV, did them shows stay on there? Like, can you go like back and watch them on demand?
Yeah, you can watch. I think you can watch stuff from years ago.
Okay,
you know, it's been on there and stuff. I think you can still watch an IWA Mid South. You can watch CM Punk's old stuff on there if you want before he was in the WWE and stuff.
Okay, so everything stays on there. That's cool.
Yeah, it all stays on there. I'm pretty sure the live stuff, I don't think it stays on there. Like I said, we haven't gone live, so I don't know for a fact. I don't think it goes like the live stuff's in there. Like it's live, but then obviously as you know, the camera guy, you can save that stuff, edit it, and then put it on there later. But like I don't think the live stuff stays on there.
Okay, but then like if you guys want to put it on later, you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute. So you guys have you have a t-shirt gun?
We don't have a t-shirt.
I was
I'll
gonna
buy a
say-
t-shirt gun. I'll buy a t-shirt gun happily if I can shoot it into the crowd.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say I'd like to have one of those.
yeah, man. Okay, Gary says the live gets reposted a day or two later. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, the live does go on there just a little bit later.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get on there and get a thing because that's what I watch most of is independent wrestling. That's the way I can see a lot more.
There's hundreds of promotions on there. You'll never stop watching wrestling if you get
That's
on
the
there.
thing. And even here in Indiana, I didn't realize how many independent promotions there are.
Yeah, no, I didn't either, until like we were trying to find a spot, to run our show. And like we had so much like trouble trying to find like a good place because there's a lot of companies out there. There really is. There's a lot more than I thought. You know what I mean? Like I probably watched maybe been to like 2 or 3 companies in Indianapolis. And then like, as a worker, I go to reach out to more companies. There's so many that I never even heard of that are here. And it's crazy how many there are.
Yeah, because we have 2 here in Muncie, Indiana, where I'm from. And then we started doing some stuff with DCCW here in Muncie, and then that's how I've branched out. Got ladies man Mike King's helped me out a bunch. I don't know if you know him, but
I think I've met him one time. I think that's it though.
he's helped us out a bunch, getting us to other shows and stuff like that. But I didn't
That's
realize,
good.
like, man, you go to Indianapolis, I didn't know there was a show you could go to every Friday, like WCW WO has.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
man,
there's a lot like it.
that's pretty
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy how many just like every Friday. Our goal is to eventually maybe run consistently, like on a monthly basis. But like I said, like financially, it's not really that smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to like run consistently, if we want to bring in good talent, and pay them what they're worth, it's not smart to run every Friday because I don't even get paid every Friday. You know what I mean? So I can't even dump money in it like I'd want to.
And it's hard to build it up promotional wise to try to promote it and get it out there too.
Exactly.
Where if you have a month to keep putting it out there, I think that helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
So what has been the hardest thing getting HCW going?
I think it's just that it's new, and that's really all it is. So I mean, you start with 0 fans, basically. You start at 0, and I mean, we were lucky enough in our first month, to have 500 people follow our Facebook page. You know what I mean? So we were lucky enough, and it's all about pushing your product, and advertising and flyers we put out, posters, all that stuff, and we just have to, you just have to know that. You have to spend money to make money, like you said earlier. And it's like, so the hardest thing for us was just starting at 0 and it's hard for us
and having that money to put into it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all like financial. And like you said, like starting at 0, and we have to make sure, we create a good product so that people want to come back.
Did you guys have a good turnout for your first show?
I think so. I was we didn't fill every single seat, so I was a little bummed out. But in the end, it was a good turnout. We made decent money, enough for us, start to fund our next one. But I don't think we're too concerned about the money right now. We're just concerned on making a good product, make sure our fans get treated, well, and our venue stays in good shape and stuff like that. So we're not too worried about the money, but we keep our eyes on the money, make sure,
Well, then
we're being
it's
financially
also
smart.
Yeah, it's also be exciting to see like on January 28th being your second show, how many of the people that was at the first show come back?
Yeah, that's what we
You
really,
see a lot of the
really-
same faces, and you see some new faces as well.
Yeah, like Devin said, this is actually one of our partners here, Devin, right here. The initial startup was kind of difficult, but the confidence in ourselves,
Oh yeah.
the confidence. You got to be confident, and that's what's going to pull us through, and staying consistent. So, but like I said, we have a team of 4 of us. So, if one of us gets down and worried, the other 3 are usually like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll do this to, that. So, I mean, like our first show, we started at, I think it was doors at 5:30. Show had started at 6 or something like that. I think we're going to push it to show starting at 7 this time because it's on a Friday. So we're going to make sure that, people can get off work, and get home, relax a bit, and then come. You know what I mean? So give people that time. And we learned that from our first show because we had a lot of people showing up at doors, like at show start, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were piling in. We're like, all right, this is better. But in the end, it was like, we learned that if we maybe push it back an hour, then we might, get people to sit down before the show actually starts.
Like if you have somebody that has to travel a little bit to get get there that's coming. That gives them
Yeah.
time to get off work and get there and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we learned that for sure our first show.
What was the biggest thing that you learned from that first show? Do you think it was that, or was there some other things that you think were?
I think I personally like when I've worked at AWR and I've worked for other companies, there's that meeting before the show, where everybody, he goes over the card and he goes over what he expects and stuff like that. I think I learned the importance of how important that meeting is because we're on a building that has turf for the soccer field and stuff, and like the guy was like, the turf costs thousands of dollars, so we can't ruin it, so try not to ruin it. So I had to make sure I passed that message along to everybody else, and stuff like that. So I learned the importance of that before meeting, and then again, like, pushing the time back just a little bit, to make sure people can make it. And I know we'll continue to learn every show. There'll be something different.
Oh yeah. Well, even with just doing this podcast stuff, like when we go to the shows, do live commentary and set up. Who the heck is calling me? But we learn, I mean, we learn something every time, something that makes it more efficient, or just we think it's better off. I don't know who's trying to call me, but they can wait.
Yeah, Gary's saying word of advice: learn every show. You'll never stop learning. Yeah, and I think that's a good point. Like I said to you earlier, if we keep ourselves with an open mind, I think we're gonna learn every show. But Gary, next show is January 28th. Hybrid Championship Wrestling presents the Double Down, featuring Warhorse, the man.
I'm excited about that, and I like the other thing he said. Don't let something stop you. Keep going. Because
another thing we learned too is not to worry about what other people got going on. Because if we start worrying about other people's product, we're not going to focus on our product. You know what I mean? So that's like one other thing we learned for sure.
Yeah. If you're like you said, if you have all your focus on something else, you don't have all your focus on what you're trying to do. That's something we've learned doing this too. You can't, like the first show we went to, there was another podcast there doing it as well, and I was like, and a couple of the guys were a little worried about it. Say, we can't worry about that. Just do what we do, and then that company's had us back, and the other ones haven't been back yet. So I said, we done something right.
Yeah, we had a little company that we had a little bit beef with. We won't share no names because we try to be professional. But they did their fair share of work on us, trying to. They called like our venue and the owner, and they were trying to get us like out of that building. Like, oh, I don't think they're properly insured. And the guy I'm friends with, he called me. He's like, hey, what is this guy, his name? And he was like, he's trying to get us to actively not book you in our venue. He says you're not properly insured. He's like, I personally don't care, but are you properly insured? And I said, I'm on my way right now with my insurance papers. I'll give them to you. You can make a copy of them and everything. And I'm like, yeah, we're properly LLC'd. We're properly insured. We don't have that problem, stuff like that. But we had like a fair share of guys like trying to like get us to not, be a venue because they're trying to shut us down. They don't want to compete with us. But like in the end, we're not really even trying to compete with them. We're just trying to make a good product.
Oh yeah, I've seen that happen to some, and I'm not going to say names, but I've seen that happen too, where you have a guy from a different company trying to mess things up for a different promotion, and that goes back to the thing. If you're worrying about them, you're not improving your product.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's no reason for us to worry about what they're doing because it doesn't. I mean, we're going to worry about what we're doing because we want to create this good product. We want to build this brand, and we're going to put all of our time and effort into this. It's like Gary said. He said he's one of the people. He said if someone tries to step on your toes, you stop twice as hard as you walk past them. So he told Gary, he's not one to trifle with. Play with Gary. Yeah, Devin says the more wrestling, the better. And I think that's a good point. Yeah, like the more wrestling, you get to watch, the better for you. You know what I mean? And that's, like you said, you started watching a lot of independent wrestling. And I think, why not keep everybody produce wrestling? You know what I mean?
Well, and some of the best shows and matches I've seen personally have been at independent shows. I've been to WWE. I haven't been to AEW yet because it's a little newer. But I've been to WCW, all that back when I was younger. But I got to see John Moxley and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
Is it Billy Rock from Lafayette?
Yeah.
Billy?
Yeah.
Got to see all three of them and Drake Younger all for a $10 ticket at an independent show in Indianapolis before they were in WWE.
Yeah. So I mean, our tickets range differently. Like we have Warhorse, and some people buy that ticket 'cause it's worth it. Our front seats is $20. But it does come with a free signed poster from all the talent, so you'll have autographs from everybody. Maybe they're worth a lot of money one day. You never
Yeah.
know. But it comes with a free signed poster. It's $20. Our second row, $15, and our third and fourth row are $12, and that's just our general admission seating.
No, that's not. Hey, $20 to go out for a night of entertainment, especially in this day and age, it's pretty cheap. There ain't much you can do for that price.
Yeah, $20. I think it's a steal, and then you're in an event, where you can buy food and drinks and enjoy yourself. So that's pretty cool. What's Gary saying? Too many promoters have Vince complex. He said, I ship from the from the hip regardless. Yeah, yeah.
But no, I agree with that. You have too many of these promoters that are in that Vince complex or old school that try to step on other promotions, and I don't know. In my opinion, there's no reason for it.
No, there's definitely not. I mean, we can all work together. I mean, we can all make a better product.
Well, and yeah, you're pushing each other to be better, so you're going to put out a better product.
Exactly,
and you're both going to grow from that because you're
like, if Gary comes up with a sick idea and he puts it on his show, I can think of my own idea, like, because like Gary, he had the Asylum deathmatch tournament that he had. I'm like, tournaments is that's a good way to hand out a belt. It's a good way to draw a crowd for a multiple set of days. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I learn from what other people are putting out. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a
tournament can be a good way to get some more of your talent in matches as well. Now, do you guys have, well, this is on your second show, but are you guys gonna have some guys that are like your regular guys that are HCW guys, and then?
Yeah. So I think some people that are on this show that were on our last show will be Sam Knight, Jeffrey John, Ace Perry will be there, Aaron Atlas will be there, Tyler Scott was previously on the previous show, and he'll be there. I think the rest of the card is new but very familiar in the Indiana area, so you may have heard of them. I won't push out those matches yet, just because we'll let those be announced on our page. Those come out usually every Sunday mid-afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, and well, when they come out, I'll share them on our pages for you as well.
Let them know you're gonna be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. Like I said, I know my dad's excited. He was talking about over the weekend while we was at the other shows.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you run into a good product, you want to go back. That's like one of the best feelings, man. Like, I killed to go to some of the AWR stuff, because sometimes, like, when they had Dale Patrick's versus Mickey Knuckles, I don't know if you know those two. Those two brutalized each other, but it like in a beautiful fashion. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird because it's blood, it's people hurting each other, but like, oh man, it was good, and like they were both good after the fact, but like they just, in my opinion, they created art, and I was like, I'd go back any day to watch that match again.
Yeah, I've heard of both of them. I haven't got to see either one of them live yet, but yeah, that's why I want to go to a death match. I watched Moxley and I think it was Cage. They had pizza cutters out and shit, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is wild. But my first thought was, I want to go to that.
Yeah. So my first time ever meeting Nick Gage, I didn't even know who that was. And I also met Gary J for my first time, and I didn't know who he was at the time because I was just getting into independent wrestling. But like, I was at St. Louis Anarchy, and Nick Gage asked for a chair from a fan while he has Gary J laying down on the ground. And everyone in the crowd picked up their chair and folded it, threw it in the ring. They had a mountain of chairs laying over Gary J. He had to pick Gary J up out of the pile, and he bodied him on top of him. It was beautiful, man. Like I said, dude, the deathmatch stuff is just the deathmatch stuff is a different ball game, and and it can be interesting in itself. So it's definitely something to watch for sure.
Yeah, just Gage and Moxley trying to get out to the ring was a great scene. Trying to battle through the fans, all the fans on there. Yeah. It's like, man, I want to go check that out at least one time.
That's something that's like, gives people, and it personalizes an experience, when people go through the crowd like that. So that's another thing that like we're going to try and do as Hyper Champions Wrestling is making each, person feel like it's personalized to them, or just feel like it's involved in some way with the crowd, or just so like you're getting more for your $20 than you thought you was gonna get. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I tell people that aren't wrestling fans, and I'll say go to because they'll ask me why do you like watching? I said go to an independent show, and then tell me you don't like it. I said it's a totally different experience than watching WWE or any of that on TV.
Yeah, it's different watching it live. It's
Yes.
so different because you can get into it. You can get into it, and it's just screaming your. I couldn't tell you how many independent shows I've been to, and I've screamed my voice gone. You know what I mean? Because like it's just you get into it, man.
Yep. I've turned my girlfriend, her 17-year-old son. I've turned him into a wrestling fan. He loves going to these independent shows now.
Yeah, it's so much better going to it live. And like I mean, I've watched a lot of WWE, and I went to my first live like SmackDown live event, and so much better watching it live than like watching it on TV. It's a different ball game.
Yeah, just the atmosphere. That's why I like the independent shows, because the close atmosphere. You're right there on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's better to be there than just watching it, and you get distracted by every little thing.
I got her boy into it so much. We're going to a show on Christmas Day that evening.
Heck yeah, man.
She has to work, and he said, hey, you want to go? He said, hey, WCW's having one on WCWO's having one on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day night. You want to go? I was like, yeah, we'll go.
Sure.
So me, him, and my dad are going to that on Christmas.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's dedication right there.
Yeah, I was surprised they were having a show on Christmas Day. But hey,
yeah. Some people do that.
Something different. I mean, in the evening, people don't have a whole lot going on, so I guess in a way, it's kind of a good idea if you can get it out there to your fans.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people used to go like to the movies and stuff on Thanksgiving or on Christmas. I'm like, yeah.
I've been in the movies on Christmas Day before for a Star Wars premiere. It sounds so nerdy, but
I think that's what it was at one of our family gatherings on Christmas. Everybody was leaving early to go to watch. I think it was Star Wars or something. I'm like, I sit around Christmas Day more and watch like football or basketball or whatever sports on. Do you have any anything else HCWIs that you'd like to talk about or promote?
No. So it's gonna be January 28th, 2021, Strive 365 in Terre Haute, Indiana. Come get your 21 and over bracelet. Get you some booze if you want. Get you some good food, some fresh food. We've got working big bathrooms. I like to promote that. Our building's also it's a little cold in there because the building's so massive, and the doors get opened in and off, but it is temperature controlled, so you won't stay cold for long. It's a big building, it's a good product. So you'll see us January 28th. You'll see us in Ohio on February 20th for the wild card, for the pre-show for OWA. And then you'll see us on March 18th. We don't have a name for that show. That was to be announced, but that date is secured. So put it down on your calendar, March 18th. It's another Friday. We try to run on Friday because there is another company that in Terre Haute that runs on Saturdays or Sundays, and we try to respect that and let them, have those days. So we're running on Fridays.
And you're the one in Ohio. Did you say that was going to be on IWTV?
Yeah, all of our products moving forward is going to be on IWTV. Okay. Gary Emmett, he's asking where can we reach HCW. We're active on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All 4 team members who run it have the login for it, so someone's going to get back with you immediately if you message, if you have any questions or anything like that. We do have a link on our Facebook now if you want to order tickets. It is an Eventbrite link. You can actually load up, a map of our venue and pick your seats and go ahead and pay in advance if you want to. So I'll tell you what, we've got I think we got like 25 front row seats. I would say almost half of them are gone. So if you want the front row seats, they're going.
Can you get tickets at the event as well? And are they
so you can
the
walk
same
in,
price?
Yeah, so they'll be the same price. The only thing with pre-ordering them through Eventbrite, there's a little bit of a fee. It's like $2, so you end up paying like $22 versus $20. If you pay at the door, the same price, $20 for front row, $15 for second, and then $12 for general admission. But your front row seats do come with a free signed poster by all the talent, so that kind of comes with it. Yeah, I think that's it. You'll have our merch there if you guys want to pick up merch, anything like that.
All right, that sounds good. I like that shirt. I'll probably end up getting me one.
Yeah, this what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know. But yeah, so you'll see Warhorse. He'll be there June 28th. Gary Dale's gonna be there. I know Gary's a big fan of Dale. Dale's gonna be there. We got Ace Perry. We've got Gary J. We've got Aaron Atlas. We've got Tyler Scott. We've got a handful of other people. But you know, like I said, every Sunday we'll announce a new match card until we get to the date. So keep your eyes open.
I'm excited about it because there's some of those guys I haven't got to see live. So that's another reason I'm excited. And there's a few guys I haven't seen at all.
Yeah. Yep. So you come out, you'll enjoy yourself. I know you will. Like I said, I got your 2 tickets already put away.
We'll be there. Hell, my dad was already talking about what time are we leaving and stuff. I was like, dude, we still got about a month to call.
Yeah, the AWR world, the heavyweight world champion's gonna be there at our show. So Dale's actually the champ at AWR. So I'll tell you, like I said to House earlier, and like I come with that, the whole gimmick is casino night. And what's casino night without a little bit of gold? So you keep yourselves posted. You come to the show. You'll enjoy yourself. I know you will.
I appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you inviting me.
If you ever want to come on again, talk about like when you have your next show coming up or whatever.
That sounds like a plan. I'll reach back out.
All right. You have anything else?
No, I think that's it. I don't know if Jeremy and them were listening, if they had any questions. But no, I think that's about it, man.
Gary said, you sold me. Now I got to come, laughing out loud.
It's Dale, man. Dale's a heartthrob, man.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, go check out HCW January 28th, Terre Haute, Indiana. I can't remember the name of the building.
Yep. Yep. It's Strive 365. It's
Strive 365.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like a plan. I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you coming on, and I'll if I don't talk to you before, then I'll see you on the 28th.
Sounds like a plan. It's awesome.
All right, thanks for joining us.
All right. Bye.
All right. Before we get out of here, I want to thank everybody for joining us again. Also, don't forget, we're live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern with Easy Money, a sports betting show. We're also live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern with GSR Gonzo Sports Room. And then we do the G.W.R. lives on different days because most of the time we've been doing interviews, but it's usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But don't forget, this Sunday, we're going to be dropping our new weekly pro wrestling podcast, G.W.R. Gonzo's Wrestling Room. It'll drop every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. We're going to be we'll record on Saturdays, and then the episodes will drop on Sunday. It'll come out on our podcast networks, and then it'll also be on our YouTube page. So if you want to watch video, you'll be able to watch video on YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that. Check out our merch store, streamlabs.com/Gonzalez Sports/merch. You can see one of our GWR shirts here. We got a new GWR shirt that's on our at our merch store. The front's a little different, and then on the back it says it has the outline of the state of Indiana. It says the voice of Indiana Independent Wrestling. So make sure you check that out. One thing here real quick. Also, check out our YouTube page. Please hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. Hit the bell so you get notifications so you don't miss when we're going live. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room. Or you can find me at Chris D. Gonzalez on Facebook, Chris Gonzalez at Gonzalez Sports on Twitter, or Chris Gonzalez on Instagram. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, with Easy Money, a sports betting show. And then I'll also see you at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon with GSR Gonzo Sports Room. And then also tomorrow, I want to check the time real quick. Well, we got another show tomorrow. I just gotta find it real quick. We have another interview tomorrow. I think it's at Where's that page at? Here it is. Wednesday. Yes, tomorrow at 6 p.m. we have Los Lucha Amigos. Come join us for that. It's going to be should be an interesting conversation. So tomorrow we'll be live at 11 a.m. Eastern with Easy Money, 1 p.m. Eastern with GSR Gonzo Sports Room, and then tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. we'll have a special G.W.R live with Los Lucha Amigos. Hope everybody enjoyed the show today. We will see you guys tomorrow. Be safe. Peace.